Well, Super Bowl weekend. Welcome to the row, kids, Hots, Heads, Dreamers, Sixers. We always appreciate you guys locking in with us. Yes, sir. Johnny, talk to me, kid. How you feeling?
I think that's a new start to the show. I have to flex, fucking, especially when I do arms today. So
Everyone's been
good.
clamoring about your Dallas fucking rant, bro. It's still going to now.
Yeah,
Rob brought it up yesterday. I was chilling with him on the mic. He was like, bro, I followed Row 26 yesterday, and the first video I watched with Tiffany was Hots' rant on the Cowboys, and it was the best thing I've ever watched.
Yeah, no, because I meant it, but I did like take enough time to like kind of write it down and like have my thoughts going, like, because it was raw. It was like when I first heard it, I wrote it all down and then just read it, and like I added some as I went. But yeah, no, I meant every word of it. And it's amplified by like obviously the success of the Eagles. Like the Eagles have been to 8 NFC Championship games since the Cowboys have been to 1. And like the Eagles being in the Super Bowl this weekend, like I was talking to somebody and I was saying how I always go into like a mini depression after football season, like a seasonal depression kind of thing, and that started early this year. As soon as it was like Eagles Commanders in the NFC Championship game, because I'm like, I know one of them is going to be in the Super Bowl, likely the Eagles, going into that game. And then like Chiefs and Bills, like I was cheering so hard for the Bills because obviously I don't necessarily want the Chiefs to win. But like we talked about it, we're not like Chiefs haters. Like that's a popular take of like kill the dynasty. Like I
not
like
what our pod's been about ever. We like good football.
Yeah, we've never been like, oh, the Chiefs get all the calls. Yeah, some of the calls are annoying, but we said it, like they stand out because the Chiefs are like too good to get good calls. Like other teams get good calls too. I remember like this tattoo on my arm. The Cowboys were playing the Lions in the playoffs, and there was like a phantom pass interference. They called it, and then they picked up the flag when it was a blatant pass interference. And like every team gets good calls sometimes. Every team gets bad calls sometimes. But when the Chiefs have been on every primetime playoff weekend for the last 3 years, and then they play a lot of primetime games during the season. So there's a lot of visibility on when they get good calls, and they fucking win a lot. So it's like, oh, this is why they win a lot. You search for reasons why they win a lot. But to break down the game, I mean,
I say excuses is also a word. That's the word.
Yes, yeah. You search for reasons why they won and excuses why your team lost. Yes, good point.
Yep.
But also, to be fair, like when your team loses on those kinds of shits, like you have the right to be pissed. Like
that Philly game on those fourth down, the lack of holding called on Saquon, I'll never forget in the Rams game, and then the fourth down conversion where
that was actually against the Commanders that hold on fourth down.
You're right, and then the unnecessary roughness on Saquon following the fourth down as well. That was a huge. You talk about swing. You talk to a Commanders fan, they'd probably tell you that was the game.
Well, they also ended up losing by like 30, so it's hard to stick to that.
They did put up hang 50 on them.
It was like 55-22 or something crazy. But but you're right. Like that
you know how it gets to it being avalanche.
But if you, of course, that was a huge that fourth down. They don't get that. Like it's like the double whammy of the Commanders get the big play, and the Eagles don't get that like big play to AJ.
The whole game. There's no way they're winning by 50 or whatever.
AJ's feeling good now. When AJ's cooking. I was talking to my boy Cruz last night. He gave me a call, and we were just talking about sports, whatever, locking in. And he was talking about how LeBron was 5 of 5 from 3, and it's like the night before when he had 40, and like Maine was saying he's the oldest player to ever score 40 or something like that. Yeah, and or maybe not, but like or the only player to score 40 like while he's 40 and while he's a teenager, some whatever stat. But in that game, at one point he was 5 for 5 from 3, and it's like if he's 5 for 5 from 3, there's really nothing anyone can do. And if fucking just like similar to that, like if AJ Brown is cooking for the Eagles and like Jalen Hurts is hitting him down the field, like on top of the running game, like if they're doing that, they're really, really hard to beat. So like once they get that going early, like you could see as a Commanders fan, like if they never have that fourth down conversion, 1, because it converts to fourth down, 2, because it gets AJ involved, and 3, because you don't get the ball, you don't get the good fortune of getting the call.
I agree, and I think I saw some stats about AJ Brown against single coverage. He's number 1 in the league in basically every stat. Actually, it's touchdowns, completions, or catches, just like yards per catch, win rate at the line of scrimmage, just like everything. He's so good in single coverage. So, I think that if they can get the ball to AJ Brown and make him be just someone you have to worry about early, and then they get into that run game and really start getting downhill, man, they'll have a good chance. And the one stat that I saw, it's a crazy stat. The Chiefs in every Super Bowl, all 4, have been losing by at one point in the game 10-10. They're 3-1 in those games. So if you think about that, what that tells me is the Eagles are a team, obviously, that you don't want to get behind on because of the run game. Exactly what we're talking about, that they can control that the whole thing. The only X factor that stops all this, obviously, as we know, number 15, but because he's just the guy that can change and do anything on any given dial. Like, it doesn't matter the game flow, it doesn't matter what's happening. He can change the outlook of the whole entire game at any time. So despite that stat and making it seem like if the Eagles were to get up by 10, it would be a lot harder for them to come back, the Chiefs to come back on a team like the Eagles specifically, because they're so stout in that run game. I still think if they get down 10, the Chiefs, Mahomes still has this other level to go to, and it galvanizes the defense, and it's just the weight of them. It's their weight. It's the momentum. It's just like we've been here before so many fucking times, and I can't get my head past that to pick the Eagles, even though that stat was such a good stat. That makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, one of the Row 26 things written on the fucking commandments is never bet against the Chiefs. Like, if you're a gambler, never bet against the Chiefs. So you got to stick to that principle, that core principle of our podcast. What you're saying about the Eagles going up 10 points, like, despite their play style, it's not that secure. I'll take it a step further. I'll say the only chance they have is to have a double-digit lead at some point in the – like, if they never have a double-digit lead, like, there's no chance they win. Like, they might need a double-digit lead with 5 minutes left to have a chance.
I agree.
Like, there's no way that, like, if they're – or not no way, but my point being is that if the Chiefs have the ball, let's say down 6 –
oh, it's over.
In the fourth quarter, I'm betting on the Chiefs.
Pack it up.
I think the only, like, the Eagles need to have the ball with the 7-point lead. Like, if the Chiefs have the ball down single digits in the fourth quarter, give me the Chiefs all day. Like you're saying, like, they've won 3, they're 3-1 down 10. You look at Mahomes' record, down 10 points in his career. He's something crazy, like, win 70% of them, he is the favorite even when he's down. Like, always. If they do go down, bet the Chiefs live odds if they get plus money on.
Hell yeah. They're such the quintessential team that can come back, change the scope of the game.
They're never going to give up because it's that effect of having Mahomes, having Andy Reid, that, like, even as a defender, you're down 10 late in the third quarter, but you're like, oh, we have Mahomes. Like, let's go make a play. And we're right in the game again.
And we have Kelsey.
It just elevates. It just elevates. But I'm saying, even if the defense is on the field,
right?
Like, we're down 10. Like, if we hold this to 10,
one stop right now, Mahomes is going to go down there and get us points.
Yeah, if we hold this to 10 or even 13, like, we're right in this. We just can't give up 7. Like, which motivates you to make one big play, 1 third down, and you get a sack. 1 third down, or you make a deflection, and on the defense, you're right back in the game. Like, it's easier to play football when you have a great leader, a great quarterback. It just lifts everything. Like, that's why when people say things like, oh, well, Mahomes doesn't play defense, or not just Mahomes specifically, but just in general, like, how, like, offense is football is a complementary game. Everyone plays together, even if they're not on the field together at the same.
Down at the 1, which leads to the defense getting pressure and getting a safety, or pushing them to force them to punt, which then leads to them punting to the 50. Then the offense has half the field to work with to go get a touchdown.
Even beyond like the obvious, like, yards down distance, like, just like the motivation of our offense is this kind of offense. Like, let's say the Chiefs, let's say, God forbid, Carson Wentz has to come in the game because they're hurt, like, because Mahomes gets hurt.
Happened in the past in a playoff game, remember?
But I'm saying it's like knocked out. But I'm saying, like, he's knocked out of the game. You know what I mean? Can't come back. Not like he's gonna hobble on like his usual Mahomes bullshit, sprained ankle shit. I'm saying like he comes into the game. That defense now, even though Mahomes isn't on the field, even though Wentz isn't on the field with those guys, that defensive play, effort, energy is going to go down. So I'm not just saying in the sense of, like, oh, the defense makes a sack and then the punt returner gets a great return to set up the offense, who then scores. Sure. Like, not in the even direct correlation of what's tangible, just like the mindset of having a great quarterback. And it works both ways. If you have a great defense, offensively, you could play more conservatively, maybe, like we've seen back in the day with, like, the Ravens in the early 2000s. Like I feel like when people say like, "Oh, this guy doesn't play defense."
Say that the teams that walk into the game with the bad quarterback, the defense knows it comes down to us for us to have a chance to win this game. The mindset is different. I feel like for the Baltimore Ravens, Trent Dilfer team, the Brad Johnson, Tampa Bay Buccaneers teams, those teams, even though Brad Johnson was actually solid and he kind of gets a little bit of hate, he was actually a solid QB. But
yeah, he's decent.
In general, though, you know what I'm saying? Like, just still lower level than these guys like Brady, Mahomes, these fucking alpha dogs. So I definitely agree with what you're saying that within the game, like if it happens in the second quarter and you lose Mahomes, it's definitely a gut punch and the energy might come down. But there are special cases, I feel like in the playoffs specifically, where it's the one game microcosm where it's like the defense will see, okay, Mahomes is out. This is on us, boys. There is some of that, like, this is on us. You know, Chris Jones gets the huddle around. He gets Bolton with him. He gets McDuffie, and all those guys are like, if we don't make stops and we don't give them half fields and we don't get a turnover and change the complexion of this game, we're not fucking winning because Carson Wentz is in the fucking game. So there is.
I agree with you if the game is like a tie game at the time where my take more comes in. If you're down 10 and you have Mahomes, you're right in the game. If you're down 10 and you have Carson Wentz, you're about ready to give up. You know, even if you play defense, special teams, you're like, your morale is low. You're like, oh, we're fucked.
Yeah.
Once you start thinking that, it creeps into your mind subconsciously. You're not giving the same effort, the same energy. But I mean, I guess we could break it down like key by key. You kind of brought it up already. Like one of the keys for the Eagles, like I guess a must do is get a double-digit lead. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be early. If the Eagles never have a double-digit lead throughout the game, they will not win the game. I'll say it now.
I have a bullet point on this.
Go ahead.
Key. So one bullet point I would put underneath this key is the Eagles cannot play with their food. So in the Rams game, they were up double digits, played with their food. Stafford had the ball at the end of the game with a chance to win.
That's
down 5.
True.
So we think about the stat of Mahomes being 3-1 in games he's down 10 in the Super Bowl. Think about that stat: 3-1 in games he's down 10 in the Super Bowl, combined with the Eagles playing with their food. That spells disaster if the Eagles go down in this game. The Eagles go up in this game. If the Eagles go up by 10, 15, they've played with their food, and the Chiefs love to come back. That combination tells me get to your sports books immediately and fucking slam the Chiefs, because everything history has told us now, especially immediate history, is that the Eagles don't know how to step on people's throats unless they're a bad team, at the same time as the Chiefs don't know how to go away. So that, to me, is the other bullet I wanted to add on to that key.
All right, and then we'll throw in for the Eagles. I think another key thing, and I don't love bringing this up because it is two completely different Chiefs teams. A different Patrick Mahomes was a long time ago, but when the Bucs beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, it was like 31-9. Like, they were all over him. You know, like, they were getting pressure. They were doing exotic blitzes. Like, Vic Fangio, he's not a big blitzer, but I think he needs to almost like they talk about poker players, like shifting gears, like a very conservative player, like running a bunch of bluffs in a row. Like, I think Vic Fangio needs to pull out all the stops this weekend and get creative with his blitzes, change up what they've been doing all year. Don't let Andy Reid and Mahomes look at the film, see what you've been doing all year, and, you know, come up with a game plan for it. Pull out all the stops, get in your bag, get creative. All that you needed to this week is when you need to throw out the fucking drawing board and start something completely new and throw the kitchen sink at Mahomes. And if you get burnt deep, like, you live with it, you know, like, you have to make him beat you deep. You cannot let him, you know, see what you've been doing all year and pick it apart. You have to go after him. You have to make him uncomfortable.
Zach Bond is a huge key to this game, and the way he's going to control that defense and how he controls Mahomes and that run game and the way he orchestrates and gets everyone set up, because he's the mic, obviously. So I think there's going to be a lot of guys like him blitzing and guys like Smith. Is Nolan Smith? Is that his name? The pass rusher? Is that right?
Nolan Smith from Georgia. Yeah.
Nolan Smith is going to be a guy. Maybe he's super athletic, can drop back into coverage off the line of scrimmage type of thing. Some of those type of hybrid type of where you're down at the line of scrimmage and a lot of disguise I could see happening.
Yeah, like a
zone blitz, stuff like that. Guys coming from wayward directions. Maybe Cooper DeJean coming off the nickel, more blitzing, stuff like that. I could see wrinkles like that happening a little bit more, but I don't see them getting ahead of blitzing or committing more than 4 or 5, because at the end of the day, if you commit too many to Mahomes, He's just too smart, and he's going to know where to go with the ball. So it's almost like the Brady effect, where remember what the Giants used to say about Brady? You have to be able to get to him with 4 up front. If you blitz him and you take guys out of the secondary, he's going to pick you apart. So I almost feel like if they blitz,
but I think with Brady, it's like you would rather get pressure because you can't just sit back, like you can't.
No.
Yeah, like you have to get exotic. Like getting pressure with 4. That's the key to every game that's ever been played in NFL history.
Yeah, if you can do that, you're a great team.
Yeah. You got 7 people guarding 5, then you're probably in pretty good shape. But just to the point, like I don't, with how good the Chiefs' lineman is. Like they have a good protection, good schemes. Mahomes knows how to move around. I think they're going to have to confuse Mahomes. I don't think you could just rush 4 that you have down, like you're saying, send DeJean, back off Nolan Smith, zone blitzes, exotic blitzes, maybe bring in 5, maybe bring in 6 and pressing and hoping you don't get beat, and getting there quickly with less than 2 seconds, 3 seconds, where he's just got to get rid of the ball and throw it away or take a sack or whatever. I think they have to get creative. I would say, I guess we have 2 keys for the Eagles already. The last key that I'll throw out there that we could pivot off of, or you can agree with, disagree with, is they have to control the clock, but not fall in love with Saquon. They have to make them respect the pass, because we're talking about late game stuff. And like you were saying with the Rams, was a perfect example, was late in that game. They tried to just kind of run it, and then Saquon also got stuffed on first, and then they for 2 yards, and then they tried to do a play action, get cute, and just slid. That would have been better off as just a straight drop back, trying to hit AJ on a slant and go or something like that.
I got a stat. I knew it was right, and I just double checked it. You want to hear a crazy stat about your boy Spags? Spags in 2024 has not allowed a 100-yard rusher.
I've heard this stat. I've looked.
Also, Spags going back in the playoffs, he's only allowed it, I believe, once or twice in the history of his playoffs as a defensive coordinator, allowing the opposing team to have as a 100-yard rusher.
Yeah, and I think that's that's a team stat. We talked about complimentary football before, with the Chiefs being
also
able
a commitment, though, too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's a commitment.
Yeah, for sure. It's also a Chris Jones stat. You know what I mean? There's some, they have monsters. Yeah. But but I think that the Eagles to win this game, I don't think Jalen Hurts needs to be even as good as he was in the first time these teams played in the Super Bowl. Sure. But I do think he's going to have to make some early down throws to set up the run. I think they can't just be run it on first, run it on second, get into third and manageable, and hope that they get those third downs over and over again.
That's tough. You're playing with fire there. And they can't go to 4th downs thinking they can just continuously go for 4th downs all game like they like to do. They got to
if it's 4th and 1, I think they actually have to do that. I think
that's not where you want to be is kind of what I mean. It's not areas we want to be. That's the stuff where Chris Jones will make a play. He will stuff that fucking tush push.
Yeah, they were stuffed. Well, they were stuffing Josh Allen, but the Bills don't run it like the Eagles do. To be fair, to give the Eagles credit, first off, Jalen Hurts, they'll say it on the broadcast, he squats 600 pounds, he's a fucking beast. And then they get behind him and they shove him. You watch the Josh Allen, that's just a regular quarterback sneak. They're not pushing him or nothing. They
did one at a shotgun with Josh Allen. It was so fucking dumb. I hated that play call. Ugh.
Yeah, no, it was a weird but the Chiefs are good at stopping it, and I wouldn't be shocked if they found a way to stop it, at a big moment. I'm not saying that at all, but I am saying that I don't think the Chiefs can settle for field goals on 4th and 1s. The Eagles can settle for field goals on 4th and 1s.
I just also the Jake Elliott thing is a whole other conversation. That if it's not under 45 yards, I don't even think that Sirianni is going to be looking his way. It's tough. I think at that point I do
think in New Orleans, if the weather in the dome, you have to kind of go home with the girl. You have to go home with the girl you brought to the dance. He's been clutch for them. Yep. He's been clutch for them for so many years. Jake Elliott.
Order in week 2 to ruin the Giants' season 3 years ago when I thought we had some promise. He just literally.
This is Jake Elliott's first year as a bad kicker, and they didn't replace him at this point. You can't if it was a situation where you felt hamstrung by him, you had to replace him. You could say he got injured and just bring somebody else in and just to save face for him.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, if you don't replace him, you can't work around him. That's you committing to him. And if you try to alter your game plan because you don't think your kicker can hit a fucking 50-yard field goal, like then on 4th and 13 from the 33, like you're gonna punt.
You gotta kick
you know
that.
what I mean? Like I'm not saying on 4th and 1 from the 33. Like that's the opposite of what I'm saying. I'm saying you got to go for that.
Those fringe decisions are going to come up because they always do.
No, that's not even a fringe decision to me.
No, I mean like 4th and 5.
Yeah. Like against the Commanders, for example.
You got it. Exactly.
That's
the
pretty
4th
similar.
And 5 from the 36, 35-yard line, whatever it was.
That might have been a little deeper. Like that might have been like 58-yard field goal or something like that.
What's your brink in terms of yardage versus Elliott versus the yardage?
I guess I think you have to be comfortable kicking a 55-yard field goal. But then again, if it's 4th and 5, that changes things too. Like that, like if you feel good about a play, you have dialed up whatever, like you have a plan,
or the score of the game. The circumstance matters too.
But if it's like I said, if it's 4th and 10 plus, and you're in a kicking situation where you have to kick, you can't be like we're punting because of Jake Elliott. You can't do that. That's one thing you can't do. So we gave pretty much 3 keys for the Eagles. Like, what are the keys to the Chiefs besides just like they're the Chiefs? Like, they don't really need keys.
I think one of the main keys is they have to have success running the football. The Eagles defense is the untold story. I feel like we're talking about Mahomes, talk about Jalen Hurts, talk about Saquon Barkley, talk about the Chiefs defense being stout, Spagnuolo, all this great stuff. The one thing that's not being talked about is the number 1 ranked defense in 2024, which was the Philadelphia Eagles. They have done an incredible job drafting with Zach Bond, Creon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, as we've talked about at length on this podcast. Jalen Carter.
Zach Bond was a free agent, but I get you.
Oh, yeah, excuse me. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like in terms of just young players filling out the roster.
Oh,
you're right.
No, but like I think like we've talked about it before on the podcast, but like the Eagles front office offseason was spectacular. The only misstep was Bryce Huff from the Jets.
Yep.
But it's like, they almost like that's almost
got out of the way of the Reddick nonsense.
That's what I was just about to say. That's almost like a push versus a loss because they got away from Hassan Reddick.
100%.
But
they found out about Nolan Smith through the process as a pass rusher.
Yeah, I think he got burned last year even with Reddick, but I get what you're saying. Like he was able to maybe breathe a little more, but I think their offseason was so big in terms of getting DeJean, Mitchell, Bond, was massive. And then, like you said, the growth of Jalen Carter, the growth of Nolan Smith, the growth of Nakobe Dean. Obviously, he's out now, but, throughout the season.
Jalen Carter might be the best defensive tackle in football right now.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put him above Chris Jones quite yet, but he's working
right
his
there.
way towards that.
He's coming.
Yeah. But also Milton Williams is a guy you don't hear about a lot. He's another young guy, maybe like a 3rd-round pick from a couple of years ago. He's had a really good season. He had a really good game against the Rams a couple of weeks ago. And, like, I think just their defense is super good. I like that take. So in terms of, like, what the key is, you're saying
the Chiefs need to run the ball and commit to that run game. They can't go away from that early if the Eagles defense stops them. So one key I would say for the Chiefs is stay committed to the run throughout the game. Don't let Mahomes get into this pass happy mode where he's running around. I think that was one of the spells against the Bucs that ended up happening where they really couldn't get that run game going. So Mahomes started running around for his life. I think we remember the famous throw while he's getting tackled and it hit the guy in the helmet and he didn't catch it, but like he threw it as he was getting tackled. Remember that play by Mahomes?
Yeah.
So like a lot of it was just like him scrambling around trying to figure it out like a fucking Mighty Mouse the whole game. And they kind of just like went away from quintessential Chiefs football.
To be fair, like that same throw, he like made a touchdown pass to Kelsey last week. He's a different player now. You know what I mean? Like that's why I say like I think that's obviously still a key. You got to pressure him and do whatever it takes to get pressure on him because you have no chance otherwise. But still, like it's not like if they get pressure on him, it'll be 31-9. Like if they get pressure on them, they'll have a chance to win the game in a close game this year. Like it's not like that Bucs Super Bowl. It's a different Mahomes. It's a different Chiefs team in general.
For sure.
Like it won't be Antoine Winfield waving bye to one of the receivers with fucking 10 minutes left in the game. It's not that.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I like that. I think another big key for the Chiefs is to like not be afraid to slow down. Like I guess it goes along with the running game, but like even defensively, like give the underneath stuff. Don't let AJ Brown go over the top. Don't give them that big momentum play like we saw with Washington. Like let them run the ball. Let them, like I was saying, a key is to not fall in love with the running game for the Eagles. Like if you're Spagnuolo, let them be over reliant on the running game. Don't give up the big play. the problem is Saquon Barkley could break a big play in the running game. But I do think that the Chiefs are good tacklers in general. Like, I don't think they're going to necessarily...
Best tackling secondary in football, I looked up.
And linebackers, too, like Bolton and Tranquil. These guys aren't missing a lot of tackles, so I don't see him spinning out and again breaking across the field and cutting back. Like
Maybe. He's Saquon.
Maybe.
I mean, if there's any guy that's like...
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
We've been doing this all fucking year, and we've been saying, like, there's... something's got to give, right? With this guy all year, something's got to give. And then every fucking game, he breaks one.
It's so weird to say, but it's almost like
It's Barry Sanders-y.
Saying it out loud right now, it's like, it sounds weird, but I'm saying make Saquon beat you. Like, don't let them make big passes down the field. Like, because I think the Chiefs can win with Saquon having 150 yards and 3 touchdowns. If like it's not like keeping the game close.
The last time they played in the Super Bowl, he had 3 rushing touchdowns in that game. Remember?
Exactly. Like they can go down the field and score and take long time. Like It's weird because like people say like, don't you want to keep the ball away from the Chiefs and control the clock and this and that? I think it's actually more important for the Chiefs to avoid giving up the big play. Because if you don't give up the big play, it's what we talked about. You're more likely to keep it at that 1-score game pace. Where like they take a long drive and score, you get on the field, go score. Like it's if they end up giving away a fucking long touchdown, then their defense has to go, like stuff like that. Like
you think about every Super Bowl, there's always a big throw or a couple big throws that change the element of the whole game. You think about it, always. The Tyreek Hill throw in the Chiefs for the Chiefs in the history, the Tony return for 60 yards that came down to like the 10-yard line. It's either like a return or a big catch, some kind of big yardage play, some big play that happens at one moment that changes the face of the game. The Chiefs could literally win just based on having 3 gigantic plays, if that makes sense, and just like running it the rest of the time. The over-the-top stuff is exactly what you're talking about, where for both teams, if they allow that over-the-top stuff, that's the stuff that will get them killed, because the team has the ability, each team both has the ability to run that ball and control that clock. So if you keep everything in a vacuum in a way, and you keep everything in a containment, yes, that favors the Chiefs so much. If the Eagles can figure out a way to get some of those big plays or break a big run for Saquon and open up the game, could get weird.
Like, I think that like the big debate in Philly, like talk radio, is like, do they need Jalen Hurts to have his best game to win or play great to win? And a lot of people are like, no, just keep doing what you're doing. Like, let Saquon run it and this and that. And then other people are like, no, we need to get the pass going to set up the run or this and that. And my take is they need, like, Jalen Hurts. They're not going to win a Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts throwing for 150 yards and 1 touchdown. Like, I just don't see it. I think at one point he's going to have to. And then I guess we'll just get into our next key. And that for me, for the Chiefs, is if they could get an early lead, they could run away. And I know that people think like this Eagles team's more talented, top to bottom, but they also are situational. And if they don't get out to a lead, now they have to play from behind. Now they can't be as reliant on Saquon. All of a sudden, they're not in that power position that you're used to being in, and that could really be detrimental for them. And I'm not saying go down and go up like 3-0 on a field goal. Like the Commanders did that. I mean, like, go score a touchdown, get a stop, score a touchdown. This game could be 35-14.
Yeah, like, and I think that they're going to end up. I think the Spagnuolo knows that until that game reaches the fourth quarter and it's a double-digit lead, Saquon is the main offensive cog. So even if they're down points, Spagnuolo is not going to be dumb enough to think like, oh, they're just going to start throwing and throwing and throwing. Like that's the stat is this. Do you want to hear this stat? I got another one. First 4 weeks of the season, Hurts had multiple games throwing over 30 passing attempts. Since the bye week, he only had 1 game where he had over 30 passing attempts. Obviously, they only had 1 loss, and it was the game he got knocked out of where he had the concussion. So they literally took the ball out of his fucking hands, and they won because of it. So if you think, and then,
but I'm like almost on the reverse for the Super Bowl, almost similar to Vic Fangio has to change it up like against the Chiefs to win.
Hurts has to throw at least 30 times to win.
Maybe not throw it at least 30 times, but Hurts needs to have a great passing game for them to win. Like they're going to have to
clean.
He's going to have to step up. Like they can't just do what they've been doing all season and expect the Chiefs not to be able to, coaching and player wise, adjust to what they've been doing all season and like have a plan to attack that or however you want to say it, or defend that. Either way, both ways, if you will.
Both ways.
The Chiefs are prepared for what the Eagles have been doing all season. If the Eagles try to just do what they've been doing all season to the Chiefs, I think that's a bad strategy.
Hard.
And I get that, a lot of times you see it in fighting. You always have to weigh being ready for what they're going to do and making them ready for what you're going to fucking do. Because you don't want to just be defending what they do, but you also don't want to not defend what they do, but you also want to make them defend what you do. I think for the Chiefs, they're all right, we know what the Eagles want to do. We're going to do whatever it takes to not let them do that. We're going to make them adjust. And I think the Eagles' plan should be not adjust when it happens, but preemptively. It's chess. You know what I mean?
Sure.
They're going to know what we want to do. So we have to come out of the gates doing what other people are not expecting us to do to counter that, make them adjust to our adjustment. You know what I mean? It's
the
chess.
The adjustments.
Yeah,
and then the halftime adjustments to the adjustments of the adjustments. It's just hard shit.
Especially with this 2 weeks to prepare for the Super Bowl, obviously.
Right. You get out of your element. I think the main thing that I saw Bill Belichick say, he's listen, I don't care if people see our playbook. I don't give a fuck. He's they used to say that sometimes our play sheets got leaked. I don't care. Stop us. He used to say, stop us. We'll tell you exactly what we're doing. Stop us. I feel like Andy Reid has some of the similar.
This is the same guy who filmed other people's practices.
Yeah, exactly.
So
he's saying that. But exactly. Yeah. It's a fucking hypocrisy kind of comment.
Then why'd you film the other team's practices to see their plays?
Exactly. And I'm just taking his comments for, as what they are, but outside of him. But in general, I do believe in the stance. And I think Andy Reid probably has something similar where it's just you guys know what we're going to do. We know what you're going to do. Who's going to stop the other one? We know
I'm saying that stance, if you're Nick Sirianni or you're Kellen Moore or you're Vic Fangio, don't have that hubris to say they can see our playbook and have them stop it anyway.
Yeah, I don't know if Sirianni feels that way.
Yeah, I don't think he might. He might not.
He's actually during the media row this past week, I've been listening to him a lot, and I'm not saying I like him or I think he's changed. I've changed my whole opinion about him in terms of his moxie and how annoying he fucking is. But I have liked some of the things that have been coming out of his mouth in terms of interviews and just some of the things he's been saying. I'll admit.
Let's be real. He's not a bad coach.
Can't be.
He's got incredible. He's got an incredible record as a head coach. He's
and the
come up the ranks.
Fucking were not getting the ball enough because the boy wasn't throwing the ball 30 times a game because they changed the whole game plan for Saquon. They're the guys that gave him the Gatorade bath. He clearly was in tune with him. Sirianni used to be a receiver. He clearly has the locker room's pulse in some way. Has to,
I mean, last year was the big indictment, but at the end of the day, you look at his record as a head coach over 4 years, it's something insane, an 80% winning percentage. He's obviously a good coach.
He got great rosters.
He overly falls on the sword. You know what I mean? He literally said he claimed he made a defensive call one game because it didn't work out. It's no, you didn't. Everyone knows, but I respect.
Everyone knows with fans. Yeah.
He's willing to fucking fall on the sword.
I respect.
Yeah, he'll fall on the sword for it. That's his role now is to be the CEO, head coach, fall on the sword, try to manage the locker room. And obviously, I'm not saying he's a great coach either, but to say he's a bad coach, I think is too far. But I do think a lot of that winning record, all that stuff is has a lot to do with Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman. Those I think are the real shot callers.
And just surrounding himself with great talent. He had Gannon, and then he had what's his name? Steichen, thank you.
Yeah.
Shane Steichen. And then and then they realized last year it's shit. So what do? They go back to the well again and they go get Kellen Moore. They don't just sit on their laurels. He's humble enough to bring in new coaches who have new ideologies and shit.
And it didn't work, but even mid-season, he went from Desai to Matt Patricia trying to change things up. So the defense couldn't stop a fucking nosebleed despite the personnel last year.
Change the quarterback. Throwing the ball less. Let's feature Saquon.
Let's run the fucking ball. Yeah. No. And that's Philly's been screaming, run the fucking ball for years. I think I've been saying it forever. Jalen Hurts is limited as a passer. And that's not saying he's a bad quarterback. I think he's a fringe top 10 quarterback. That's pretty fucking good. I'm not saying he sucks. He's a fringe top 10. He's somewhere in the 10 to 12 range, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a great quarterback. You can win with a top 10 to 12 quarterback if you surround them. And he does give you the freedom to play a certain type of way, an RPO style, his legs, his running ability gives you a freedom.
That's the main thing with Saquon that people don't talk about, that RPO threat.
Yeah,
The
of
one
course.
guy that has
Hurts,
to commit to Hurts.
yeah, Hurts helps Saquon, of course, and that offensive line is incredible. You know, the Eagles are good. I hate to say it, but they're good. They're a really fucking good team. If you lined up every single guy they have versus every single guy the Chiefs have, they probably are more talented. But then number 15 and the head coach and the coordinator, like, and the experience, all these guys, like,
it's closer than people give too. Like you talk about Bond versus Bolton. Talk about McDuffie versus Slay, or McDuffie versus Quignon, whoever you want to choose as being the best one. You talk about Tranquil
I think the trenches is where it gets like kind of fucking
especially the offensive line for the Chiefs versus the offensive line for the Eagles. That's where I agree.
You want to hear something crazy? Like, this is like
what you got?
The crazy thought. It's not going to happen. But what if on Super Bowl Sunday, Andy Reid, in a response to Jalen Carter, just slides Joe Thuney back inside to guard? Like, he's kicked out the tackle. Like, you know,
I know he's been great.
You know, he's been playing great out there. But like, what if they realize the bigger threat is Jalen Carter in the inside and they slide Joe Thuney back in? Like,
I think they'd be more pressed to just keep Kareem Hunt in the backfield and dedicate him to double teaming Jalen Carter and just literally like,
dude, he wouldn't even slow Jalen Carter down. You need two offensive
linemen, and
you need two offensive linemen on Jalen Carter every play. Yeah, you can't. But I'm saying with Joe Thuney, maybe you need like 1.5 offensive linemen, like a center touch.
Yeah,
and then moving on. You know,
yeah. It's not a crazy thought. I just think that the only thing that you're doing there is you're messing up.
But again, you have 2 weeks to practice. You know what I mean? Like,
with the ingredients.
This is the chess match I'm talking about. Stuff like this, like, you know, like where it's like, okay, we know that their biggest threat.
Doing it mid-game, straight up. Injury to the guard. Jalen Carter fucks someone up, and then he's like, "Yo, Thuney."
My take is not even like I think it isn't a bad move, even no injury, no.
I don't like that though, for the sake of gamesmanship. I feel like Jalen Carter would take that personal, like they are putting a Carter stopper on him or some sort in his head, and he would take it personal and alpha Thuney. Like, I feel like Jalen Carter's one of those guys that we haven't even seen his best play because he hasn't even been mentally motivated to always be mentally engaged. Because
I disagree with that. He's ridiculous. He's been incredible.
I feel like there's a whole other level. I'm straight up saying it.
I don't think so. I mean, he's been, like I said, he's already a top 3. I would say him, Dexter Lawrence.
I said that. Yeah,
him, Dexter Lawrence.
There's a whole other level, though. It seems.
Nah, I think him, Dexter Lawrence, and Chris Jones are the top 3. I don't think it's almost like not humanly possible for there to be another level. If he has another level, we've never seen it before. That'd be another level for him. Would be like above Aaron Donald's. Like, if there's a whole nother level,
Aaron Donald's level type of shit.
He's already nipping at Aaron Donald's heels. Like, I look at another level as like, oh, there's like a whole nother fucking spectrum of how good he could be, as opposed to, like, he can get better. I'm not saying he can't. He can go from 3 to 1. You know, like, he go from third best to first best.
3 to 1, it would be because every play he's.
But I don't think that's necessarily even another level, because I feel like him, Dexter Lawrence, and Chris Jones are like that tier of like the top 3 guys, and then everyone else is like a tier behind them. Then it goes to maybe like Vita Vea.
I would even say that Dexter, compared to Chris Jones and Jalen Carter, even though
Dexter Lawrence
is a man, but like
Dexter Lawrence is every bit in that tier with those 2 guys. I mean, we can agree to disagree, but no, Dexter Lawrence is incredible.
Maybe in that tier, but it's hard to say because I've never seen him play meaningful football before in a big game where he's playing against the best across from him.
But you can't like take points.
I'm not taking that away from him either. That's why it's a weird conversation. I'm obviously a Giants fan.
I mean, he's played against the Eagles offensive line, and if you ask the Eagles who's the hardest guy to block in the NFL,
they'd probably say him. I'm sure Mailata and fucking Kelsey and all of these guys from last year too are like. Yeah.
No, and like the last thing
game, Dexter wrecked the game. Yeah.
And the last thing I'll say is, like, hearing a lot of podcasts, obviously following Radio Row this week, like, it's crazy to realize that, like, Lane Johnson is fucking enormous. One of the best, like, Lane Johnson to me is basically, yes, first ballot for sure. I used to talk about Brian Dawkins as the one guy on the fucking Eagles that I fucked with, even though he's fucking an Eagle. Lane Johnson is now that guy. He is so fucking good, unbelievably good, strong, big, athletic.
Head down.
He's the fucking 4th biggest guy on their line.
Yeah,
like, you know, both guards are bigger than him.
Yeah, Mailata is a fucking tower.
Well, Mailata's the other tackle. He's definitely bigger. Mekhi Mekhi Becton is bigger.
Yeah,
And Landon Dickerson is bigger.
I know.
The only guy smaller than Lane Johnson on offensive line is Cam Jurgens. But talk for a minute. I'll be right back.
Bro, I was about to talk about Becton for a second. That's the last thing I want to bring up.
Talk about Becton. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no one has ever seen a guy like Mekhi Becton, for the record. People talk about the idea of a guard being what he is, his size. You don't do that. Usually guys that guard are not that big. You usually see them be a little bit shorter and stockier because you need to get low on your pad level to be able to block defensive tackles. And like you're not able to get as low as you need to when you're 6'7", as big as Mekhi Becton was. Mekhi Becton was drafted by the Jets to be a left tackle. He was a bust, couldn't move his feet. But what did they do? Best offensive line coach in football on the Eagles. I always forget his name. I'll look it up right now. Eagles O-line coach. What is his name? It's slipping me. Jeff Stoutland. This guy, Jeff Stoutland, who has mastered the art of teaching how to play offensive line. Jeff Stoutland, just a stud, has turned Mekhi Becton into one of the best right guards in football. And even being 6'7", being an awkward height for a guard, being somebody that is not supposed to be playing guard based on his size and not the leverage, and he's playing against the grain. This is not someone you'll ever see again. He's an anomaly of a size of a guard. You don't see this. And he just fucking throws guys now. And he's pancaking guys game after game now. And Saquon is only slapping him in the butt every fucking time after every play. They have their own handshake in the end zone. They're vibing hard. So the idea that a guy that's 6'7" that can play guard like that is absurd. And shouts to Jeff Stoutland on his ability to coach that team, coach Jurgens. They slid the center over, after Kelsey's retirement. This team has not lost a beat.
Yeah, and
crazy.
Just to point out, like Mekhi Becton 6'7", Landon Dickerson 6'6". Like they have two.
He's the guard.
They have two guards who are the size of tackles, and can move. It's crazy. Oh man, but I mean, we talked about Super Bowl a lot. I think the last thing, I'll go into the DraftKings app real quick. I'll read off some of the props.
Talk to me about some props. I got the Hot Corner music on, so people know what the vibe we're getting into. But we're gonna
perfect. Yeah, I'm opening the app quick. One that I know I saw earlier was the Flea Flicker plus 250. What do you think of that? We talked about guys pulling out all the stops for the Super Bowl.
There was a flea flicker in the snow game, right? I saw that. Yeah. With Josh Allen for the tutty. I saw that play. That was wild. Amari Cooper. Yeah. I got other stuff I like.
Flea Flicker went up to plus 280 now, so it's going up. People must be parlaying the no Flea Flicker or something like that. No Flea Flicker. Or do you think no Flea Flicker at minus 380 somehow has value? Bet 100 to win fucking 22 or whatever.
I think that's good as a throw-in for a parlay. I don't think that's good for a solo bet. I think if you're going to solo bet, you go for the balls. You do.
Yeah, it's 100 to win 26.
Yeah, you don't do a solo bet on that, but I would add that into a parlay if you're trying to just get another leg in there for a 3-legger. It's required minimum for you.
Some of these novelty props they don't let you parlay though. Just
copy. Okay. Yeah, all right. I don't know.
All right, so coin toss outcome.
Heads.
Really? You're not a tails never fails guy.
Never.
Coin toss winning team.
Chiefs.
All right. So let's see if we can do heads and Chiefs parlayed. No, they don't let you parlay that. All right.
You don't agree, though. We're going to do a Road 26 bet right now? I'll throw you some bread. I can't bet where I'm in my state, so I'll send it to you. I'll Venmo you.
Team to win coin toss and win the game. Chiefs plus 265, Eagles plus 300.
Fade.
First touchdown jersey number over 15.5, under 15.5. Over. That's minus
Saquon
115.
Saquon, that's a bet that you pin. Pin that for sure. Screenshot that. Whatever you got to do because that's a pinner.
Saquon minus 115.
Yeah.
I don't know. The fact that it's at 15.5 just makes you think Mahomes. That makes me just want to bet Mahomes. That they're setting the line half a number over Mahomes.
That's the bait. I'm calling that's the bait.
Well, I'm not going to bet the under. I would just bet Mahomes.
Exactly. That's the bait that people think it will be Mahomes
or Hurts because he's number one.
Right. He's scary. Hurts is scarier than Mahomes for the record.
Jersey number specials. Hurts to throw exactly one passing touchdown plus 165. That's pretty good. Jalen Hurts to score exactly one rushing touchdown plus 170. Marquise Brown to have exactly 5 receptions plus 400.
No.
Devontae Smith to have exactly 6 receptions plus 475.
Circle that.
Saquon Barkley to have exactly 26 rush attempts plus 900. Pacheco to have exactly 10 rush attempts. Saquon Barkley to have exactly 26 receiving yards plus 1,700. Now they're getting to like really high stakes.
That's so granular. Like I can't.
Yeah. Super Bowl specials. Birthday boy Saquon Barkley to score 5 touchdowns plus 15,000.
No, I think Hurts is too prideful. Even if they got down to the 1 and he had 4, like Hurts is taking that last one.
Both quarterbacks to have a rush over 20 plus yards plus 1,000. Kind of like that.
I like that. What was that? Read that again.
Both quarterbacks to have a longest rush of 20 plus yards. So they both need like a 20-yard rush on one play.
Yes.
Plus
John,
1,000.
John.
Yeah.
That one has actual legs, like
Yeah.
serious money making legs
Like
there.
50 to win 500.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see that.
That one I might even split with you. Throw another 50 bone on 100 to win whatever the fuck.
That's 100 to win 1,000 plus 1,000.
I
You're
might
bad
throw-
at math. You need to like go back to school.
Horrible at math. Awful.
Yeah. So basically, you bet 100 plus 1,000.
At it, I can't see it. Yeah.
But I'm saying like whenever you hear plus 1,000, that's like when you bet 100. Like you
Yeah.
know what I mean? So you win 1,100. You
It's
know.
also because I don't gamble either, so I don't see the odds all the day, like a lot. I don't even
Yeah.
look at this stuff ever. But I love that bet.
Mahomes to have 25 plus passing yards in each quarter minus 130.
That's right.
That sounds pretty good.
That sounds right.
I
I like that
uh,
less than the 40 rushing yards for both of them, or 20
no,
rushing yards.
It's
20
20.
rush. Yeah, one rush.
It's a low. Yeah, in one play. Yeah. Just so you know.
I think that could happen. Mahomes might be the question mark, but Hurts has an easy ability to scramble.
I like this one. Eagles total players with receptions over 5.5.
All right, let's count them. Barkley, Smith, AJ, Goddard. So there's 4.
Yeah. And then you get
Over
Calcaterra.
5.5.
Yeah, Calcaterra, Dotson, Gainwell.
Gainwell doesn't catch.
He gets a couple here and there.
Off a limb, I'll say he had 0 catches against in the last game. Let's see.
And then Hurts could catch one on a Philly special type shit. They could throw to a tackle. 5.5 isn't a lot. Plus 100, I don't know. I kind of like that.
Gainwell had 2 catches last game. Okay, fair enough. He
Like,
had 1 the game
0.
before.
Yeah, that's all we need is one. Because
That's all we need.
Catch
he's
pass.
doing it.
Yeah. That's what I
He catches
said.
1 every game. He has 1 so many times on his game log right
Yeah,
now.
that's what I'm saying. All we need is one. Gainwell,
All right,
Barkley.
all right. So we have 5 minimally since we're counting Gainwell now. So I'm riding. Yeah, throw it.
Yeah, and then not including
And a random,
Calcaterra.
yeah, whoever-
we
yeah,
have 5,
whoever.
not including Calcaterra, Dotson.
Yeah.
a
That's what I'm saying.
random,
Whoever the
you know.
other, yeah.
And then to have
Interesting.
1 plus
That was a plus
reception.
odds, by the way, just to go back.
It was plus 100, that one.
Solid.
Just even money.
Yeah, even money. It's solid.
Yeah. To have 1 plus reception every quarter, Travis Kelce plus 190, AJ Brown plus 300. Kind of like both of those.
I don't like. Maybe Kelsey, but I don't like either.
Really? You don't think they're going to catch a pass every quarter?
No, I think there's a possibility of Saquon, like, they get
Of
the
course,
ball
there's a possibility.
okay, so the team that starts with the ball, 6-minute drive. Next team starts with the ball, goes into the second quarter, and then that next team could just run it for like a 60-yard scramble, like Saquon for a touchdown, and then the other person never even sees the field or a target. I just get
All right,
scared.
what
of it.
about this one? To have a reception in the first quarter, Saquon Barkley plus 160.
That's actually cool.
I like that.
I don't know. I just get scared. If the Chiefs get the ball, they're gonna crush that clock.
106. You win 160 for a $100 bet.
$100, yeah. 100 to win 160, yeah. That's solid.
I kind of like that.
10 to win 16, yeah, that's cool. Like, yeah, That's not
I
bad
like
at all.
that. He just needs to catch one pass in the first
Yeah,
quarter,
yeah,
and
that's
you win your bet.
yeah, I can
That's a
see
fun
that.
Super Bowl bet, you know?
Yeah, I like that one.
Fastest ball carrier. Saquon Barkley plus 225. Xavier Worthy plus 250. Jalen Hurts plus 300. They must have the data on like their miles per hour.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that.
Yeah. I'm trying to see if there's anything else cool here before we go on. Any offensive lineman to score a TD.
Ooh,
Plus 1,600. Any QB to catch a pass plus 1,600. Kind of like that. Any
Those are
QB to
sprinkle.
catch a pass.
Only because it's Philly too, and they're fucking dickheads.
I'm just looking at
the Philly special or something.
I'm looking at the special teams. They all seem pretty good.
1+ field goal in each half type of thing.
Both teams to make a 33-yard or longer field goal plus 115. I kind of like that.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a ton of bets on this game. You want it's cool. I hear that at Dana White's Super Bowl party, he just like hands out bet slips to people who come in with like random bets on them. Like if they win, you win the money. You know what I mean? Like,
That's so fun.
cool. That's a great party favor.
That's a great party favor. It's just so fun. So random.
Yeah.
Like you could be
team
assigned anything, like
special.
blue colored Gatorade, and you just be rooting like crazy at the beginning of the game for purple because you get assigned it. That's cool.
I'm looking at will any player break the Super Bowl receiving yards record 216 plus 2,000? Will any player break the Super Bowl rush record 205 plus yards plus 1,100?
That is scary. Saquon Barkley.
Looking at kickoff returns.
There's no way if Spagnuolo has the stat, there hasn't been a 100-yard rusher against him this year that someone's running 200 on him. He'd rather injure them than let that happen.
Will there be a kickoff return for a touchdown plus 2,200? Oh, I like this one. Doink. Any kick to hit the uprights? Yes, plus 450. No, minus 700. There was a doink last year. I feel like that minus 700 fucking throw 1,000 on it.
Likely.
Pray.
Isaiah Likely.
Pray.
It's 75 percentile probably if you're doing the odds.
If you
based on
bet
all the field goals
1,000, you'll win 142, 143.
Not even close to being worth it. It's a heart attack to yourself.
Yeah. If anyone hits you, just want to kill yourself.
Literally. Even after you win that bet, you don't feel good.
Yeah, a little 10% return on investment, 13% return on investment if you get no doinks.
If only I looked at it the way I looked at Apple stock.
Right? All right. That's about all the cool ones I see here. We can probably get into the corner.
Let's do it.
Excited.
I got 6 questions for you and then a trivia.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Travis Kelce or Tony Gonzalez?
Tony Gonzalez.
Who are the 3 most important players on either the Eagles or Chiefs team that no one is talking about?
That no one is talking about. I guess I kind of mentioned him briefly earlier. Milton Williams for the Eagles, I think is like a good defensive tackle next to Jalen Carter and in the rotation with Jordan Davis. Trying to get really in the weeds here.
Oh yeah, shouts to Jordan Davis, another stud.
In terms of the Chiefs, I think someone no one's talking about who I think could make some plays is DeAndre Hopkins. You know, I think no one's really mentioned his name a lot in these upcoming, to the Super Bowl. I think he could be a big threat, make some plays out there. And then I guess I'll go back to the Eagles for the last one. Someone no one's really talking about. I would say is CJ Gardner-Johnson. I feel like obviously he's been talked about throughout the year, but going up into the Super Bowl week, I think if GJ can make a couple plays, maybe an interception, maybe a forced fumble, something like that, I think that could be huge for them.
Nice. Mark Henry or Brock Lesnar?
Brock Lesnar.
Name the top 3 best universities to go play college ball if you were a high school QB coming out right now.
I think USC, LSU, and Miami.
USC, LSU, Miami.
Yeah.
top 5 small forwards all time, but you can't say Larry Bird, LeBron, or KD.
Okay. Dominique Wilkins, Julius Erving. Trying to think of some great threes right now before I go too crazy.
I could throw names out and you can choose to add them to your list or not.
Nah, that's okay. I got it. I mean, it's my list, so I'm gonna say he's my favorite player, Paul Pierce.
Yeah, he's fringy shooting guard, small forward. You got it.
He played with Ray Allen. He was obviously the 3.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair. Okay. Good stuff.
Paul Pierce. And then I had someone else in my head too. Fuck. I'm trying to think because now it's like almost anyone now. I was talking to Cruz about it last night. Actually, you know what? I'll save it because we'll discuss it after. So that's 3, and then I need 2 more.
Yeah, Neat Doc.
Give me James Worthy. And give me
MJ's running mate.
No, I thought about him already, and I don't think
you don't
he's
like
good
it
enough. No.
Really?
Yeah.
He's over Worthy though. I mean,
nah, no way.
Wow, that's fucking crazy.
No, I did think of Pippen already, but I was like, nah, not enough offensively for me. T-Mac, I was thinking of as like a guard too, because I'm trying to think who they guard defensively. I'm gonna get one. Just give me another second. I'm thinking to go further back or closer.
Probably closer, I'd say.
A good 3. All right, you know what? I'll say Pippen. I'll give it to Pippen just because he was right there, and I was like, I don't
have a
think
couple other names that I'll throw out, and then you tell me if Pippen is lower.
Well, we could do it when we recap it.
After,
Yeah.
Favorite clothing line.
Favorite clothing line. There's a couple like niche ones that I like a lot, but I'm trying to think what people would actually know. Yeah, I think I'd have to just stick with Nike.
Is Draymond Green a Hall of Famer?
No.
Or you want to get into the trivia, or you want to do the review first?
Yeah, let's do the trivia, and then we'll do.
Good. All right, so
let me lock in this time.
In NFL history, there's been 11 guys with at least 60 interceptions in their career. 60 in their career. 11 guys. Name those guys.
Paul Krause.
That's 1. He's number 1 all time.
Dick LeBeau.
He's number 11.
Give me.
So I said top 11 for history's sake here, people. So
yeah. So I got those. So I'm 2 for 2 right now.
2 for 2.
Emlyn Tunnell.
3. He's number 2 all time, people. If you don't know that.
Give me Rod Woodson.
Number 3 all time.
Give me Charles Woodson.
Number 6. Tied for number 5 all time. Excuse me.
Give me Ed Reed.
7 all time.
Give me. Oh my God. I don't know if this is right. Hang on. I'm too hot right now. How many do I have?
You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right now. You're 5 for 5 right now.
I'm 5 for 5. So I have LeBeau, Krause, Tunnell, Woodson, and Woodson.
Yes.
And then Reed. And I have Ed Reed.
And Reed. 6 for 6.
Okay.
You're both Woodsons. Forgot about that. Sorry.
Okay. And then give me. Oh my God, I'm picturing this guy, but I don't know if he's right or not. Fuck.
Some of these are hard. Some of these are easy.
No, I'm gonna give me a second. Willie Brown. He's probably just behind it.
He's number 20, tied for 21 all time.
Okay, all right.
He had 54 interceptions for the record. So I said over 60 in this thing. So he's 6 less interceptions all time, just for context.
Okay, Willie Brown is out.
Hall of Famer, shout out Willie Brown.
Man, I don't think Champ Bailey is there. I don't think Palomalu is there. Larry on the Cardinals. Larry Wilson?
I don't see he?
This might not be Larry Wilson. It might be something else. Fuck. All right. If it's not in the top 11, don't search it.
Yeah,
It's
no,
fine.
it's not even. Yeah. Oh no, he's
Yeah.
number 31 all time, 52.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
It wasn't a crazy guess, and he's a Hall of
Okay.
Famer.
Yeah, 52 is
I'd
not
rather
that
give
far
you
off.
the context, you know, just
That's
because
true. That's true. I'm glad that I didn't have his name
there is
wrong.
context here. Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
you're not
yeah.
crazy thinking his name is what I mean.
Yeah,
Not
yeah. All right, I'll start throwing. I'll start throwing some guesses out there because I'm really not sure. Mel Blanc.
I saw his name. He's number 13 all time, 57.
Oh my God, I'm right
I
on
know.
that. Fucking.
You're right on it. You're in.
All right.
You're there. You're there. And you also some names you said before were guys
I
that
was
are.
gonna say like
hovering.
Champ Bailey.
He's not in it, but he's hovering too. 52 all time.
Oh my God, him and
I-
Larry Wilson.
It's crazy. Some of these names in there you should have.
Daryl Green.
He was close. Where was he? I saw his name. Yeah, he has 54 all time.
Oh my God, I haven't said one under 50 to be fair.
Oh,
Um,
this is nuts.
Dion? I don't think so.
I don't think he's 53 all time.
Oh my, 53. Oh my
Yeah,
God, it's
53
so
total
close.
picks.
I'm all over it. Oh my God.
All over it. It's insane.
All right, let me go back.
You're gonna say the whole list of top 30, basically, of guys that are just
Yeah,
all
yeah.
the time, you know
I,
what
should,
I mean?
I got mad that you gave me too many. You should have said. Last time I said you gave me too big of a field. This time
Now
I
I-
wish it was bigger.
Yeah. Irony.
Oh my God. Who?
All right, so just to review, you have said Dick LeBeau, you have
Uh-huh.
said Ed Reed, you have said Charles Woodson, you have said Rod Woodson, you have said Emlyn Tennell, who no one
Yep.
would ever say, and you said Paul Krause, who no one would ever say, even though they're 1 and 2 all time in interceptions.
Yeah. Yeah. No. All right. Hang on. Let me. Aeneas Williams.
This one's gonna hurt again. It's 55 all time.
Oh my God, dude, this is crazy. Holy shit. Now I'm starting to get mad. Oh my God. No,
There's
now I'm
one
just.
guy on this list that we've talked about on this podcast who's a historic player who is not in the Hall.
Historic player not in the Hall of Fame. That's crazy. To have 60 interceptions and not be in the Hall of Fame.
How crazy is this? There's 2 guys that are in 60 plus interceptions that are not in the Hall.
And they're eligible to be in the Hall of Fame, or they're just young.
Yes, both have been eligible. Yes, and one of them played into modern day, like when we were.
Yeah, so
alive.
give me hints. Give me hints for whoever's the closest.
That one played in the modern day, won a Super Bowl, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I have to triple check that.
Darrell Revis.
Yeah,
No
he
way.
was on that Super Bowl team. Yeah, that was right. Okay, so who'd you just say? I'm sorry.
Nah, there's no way. Darrell Revis, but there's no way.
No,
There's
no,
no
he wasn't a
chance.
picks guy. He's just a lockdown
Yeah,
guy.
yeah. There's no chance. But then when you said like might have won a Super Bowl, that made me think like was he on the
This
Super Bowl
guy
team?
did win a Super Bowl, but 90s 2000 player is the hint, and then the other guy is a 70s to late 80s player, both non-Hall of Famers. They're 9 and 10 on the list, above Dick. One of them's tied with Dick LeBeau.
70s, 80s players.
70s to
And then-
late 80s, mid 70s to late 80s player, not Hall of Fame, and then the other guy, not Hall of Fame either, late 90s to to 2010. I'll just say.
That's crazy. I want to say someone who is a Hall of Famer.
You're missing
This
one
isn't
guy
best.
that's like the best. You could argue is the best corner, safety, whatever you want, D-back ever.
Really?
Yeah, that one's hurting right now. This is like
Ronnie
a joke.
Lott.
Yeah, thank you.
I didn't know if he had
63
that many interceptions.
Yeah,
He's a big
63.
hitter.
Yeah, he's the best. Yeah, that's why he's the best ever because he has the tackles and the picks. It's
Yeah,
nuts.
yeah. No, I thought he would be just shy. All right, Ronnie Lott. I should have got. Is that
That
the
was
guy?
nice.
But he's obviously a Hall of Famer. Steve Atwater. He's a Hall of Famer, but he might be on there. Steve
I don't
Atwater.
see him.
Guess he was more of a hitter. And then I don't know this. Give me like a team. I don't know just like a year.
Ravens.
Ravens. Chris McAllister.
Nah.
Ravens. Defensive back.
Or safety.
Ravens defensive back was on the 2000 Super Bowl team.
It's gonna kill you. It's gonna hurt.
Oh my God! Yeah, it is. Hang on, don't give it to me.
This is like when the last show for me.
because I was like Rod Woodson, Chris
this one's
McAllister,
so in your face. It's like it's too much. in
Rod
your face.
Woodson, Chris McAllister,
The other safety next to Rod, and I think Rod was on that 2000 team also, right?
not Deion Sanders. Yeah, Rod Woodson.
Was on that 2000 Ravens team, was he not? As an old player,
Yeah, I think
who
so.
was played next to him?
What's the 70s and 80s guy teams?
Oh, okay. I'll go to him now.
Because right now I have 8, so there's only 3 more.
Yeah. A lot of Seattle. I see. Drafted by Pittsburgh, but a ton of Seattle and then Green Bay to finish it out. Went to Michigan.
No. Went to Michigan? I already said Charles Woodson. But that's not even the same time. Seattle. Everson Walls? No, that's a Cowboy.
I'll just say this one. Is that all right?
Yeah, go ahead.
Dave Brown.
Nah, I never would have got it. All right.
62. He had picks all time. The other guy, number 9, I still am not going to give you. I'm going to let you sit on that for a second.
Okay, that's the Ravens guy, and then there's one more besides those two.
Yeah,
give me a hint on that guy.
Number 4, his name is the weirdest name I've ever seen in football history, probably.
Dick Night Train Lane?
That's correct, yes. He is number 4 all time.
I should have had that ages ago. That's a bad miss by me.
Richard Lane.
He has the most ever in a season, Dick Night Train Lane.
Yeah, he has
the single season record. He has like 81. I think he has 81.
Yeah, he's 68 all time picks.
And Krause has 81?
Yeah, I think so. Let me go back. That's correct. Krause has 81.
And Emlenton is
79.
Yeah, 79. See, I had that. You shouldn't
Rod
let me
Woodson,
go off.
71. I could hear it through you. I heard you.
Yeah.
Night Train also.
So I have everyone except for that guy who played for the Ravens Super Bowl played safety.
Night Train Lane also 14 picks was his rookie year. That was the most picks in a season. Rookie year.
For the Lions.
That's nuts.
And that was like a 14-game season too. All right, but whatever. Fucking this Ravens is gonna kill me. He was on the 2000 Ravens. I could name that whole defense.
His hairline is kind of a receded hairline a little bit.
The linebackers were Jamie Sharper, Peter Boulware, Ray Lewis. The defensive line was Sam Adams, Tony Siragusa.
You just said the same last name. It's so crazy.
I said the same last name?
You don't remember that.
Darren Sharper? He wasn't on the Ravens.
Yeah, he was.
2000? No, he wasn't.
It says he has a Super Bowl championship. Let me see here.
He won the Super Bowl championship with the Saints or the Packers.
You sure? Let me look here. Hold on.
He never played for the Ravens, Darren Sharper, that rapist.
That's why he's not in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, fair. The non-Hall of Fame should have helped.
True, Green Bay. I don't know why I thought Jamie Sharper, because I fucked you.
Yeah, that's when I said Jamie Sharper. You're like, same last name.
Yeah,
they didn't play on the
same last name. That's why I just realized. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
that was
Jamie Sharper was a linebacker.
Right. That was my.
I was like, there's no way there's a 60 because I knew that defense well.
Yeah, because I said the wrong team. If I said Green Bay, you would have got it. Fuck.
Yeah. Green Bay or the Saints, I would have got it.
All right, so we'll concede that one. So the only real one that you missed then, I'll say then, legitimately was Ronnie
Dave
Lott.
Brown, I had no idea, would never have found that.
It's just Ronnie Lott. You did great.
Well, Ronnie Lott, I got him when you were like, oh, he might be the best, whatever. You didn't give me much hints. You didn't say, like, he was on the 49ers. I just didn't. The only guy that I truly missed without hints or with hints or whatever was Dave Brown. Yeah, I would have never got that in a million years. I don't know who that is.
How did you know Paul Krause and Emlen Tunlin?
I knew how many interceptions they had, 81 and 79.
You just seen it.
I've seen it, yeah. And then I should have known Night Train Lane sooner.
This was a good one, though. Okay, good. I was going between different stats to do, and I thought this was a good
one.
No,
that was an impressive. I'm proud of that one. That was good.
That was a good one. And you did really well. Yeah.
And I found Darren Sharper with you giving me a false clue. I still eventually got it.
You almost got it. Yeah, you still got it.
I still got it. I did get it.
Yeah. Because I said the same last name, and you were like, oh, okay, that's fucked up then. You said random guys. I want to shout some other guys that you did name here too. Aeneas Williams, great name. Darrell Green, great name. These guys are really close also. There were other guys that were super close too. Mel
Blount, 58.
Yeah, super close.
Willie Brown.
Emmett Thomas is right there too, 58.
I don't know.
I don't know who that was either.
Willie Brown was a good pull.
Willie Brown. Eric Allen, you didn't say he was close. 54 of them.
I didn't think he had it.
Ty Law, 53. Dion, 53. They're tied all time.
Dion.
You did Dion. You did Champ Bailey. You said him, 52 all time. Crazy.
Yeah, I got a lot of 50s in there.
Yeah, for sure.
Larry Wilson.
Larry Wilson doubted it, 52. Yeah.
Yeah, Larry Wilson was a good one too.
That's cool. Hall of Famer too. Crazy.
Yeah. I know my guys. As soon as you said NFL, I knew I'd be pretty good.
Yeah. All right, let's go back to the questions. All right, so Travis Kelce or Tony Gonzalez? You said Tony Gonzalez. Travis.
Yeah. I mean, I just think it's a different time now. Like the rules are a lot better for Travis Kelce. Like the defense, like it was like Tony Gonzalez
versus like
fucking Trent Green and shit like that.
Matt Ryan.
Tony Gonzalez, he was different in his heyday. Like he was even a lot of years with Travis Kelce, it was still Tyreek Hill was there. You know, like I think Tony Gonzalez on Kansas City was leading the team in receiving yards every single year, receiving touchdowns every single year. You know, was far and away, like in his era, like clearly the best of the best. And like a lot of times, like I give it to Gronk because Gronk blocked, and I think both Travis Kelce and Tony Gonzalez don't really block. So it basically came down to like the blocking is pretty even. Like if you stick prime Tony Gonzalez in today's NFL, I think he's like breaking records. You know, 20 touchdown guy
for
like,
sure. Same with the guy that just went into the Hall of Fame. Shouts to Antonio Gates, another guy that if he played in this era, it would be probably even more disgusting.
Yeah, a great player, deserving Hall of Famer for sure.
All right, next one. Who are the three most important players on the Eagles or Chiefs that no one is talking about? You said
Milton Williams,
DeAndre
Hopkins,
Nuke. Yes, sir.
And then the last Eagle that I mentioned, I'm drawing a blank right now, to be honest.
Who did you say? I'm thinking about it too. It was on defense. Was it on defense?
I have no idea. Oh, CJGJ.
CJGJ. That's it. Yeah. Nice. The safety. Yep.
Yeah. So I think I explained it pretty.
Yeah.
I explained it pretty briefly. If he can make a big play, force a turnover, I don't feel like many people in the media are talking about him. Milton Williams, I feel like has really played well for the Eagles all season, especially in the playoff push. I think like his ability to be there, you know, in the rotation with Jordan Davis has been huge. And then lastly, I think DeAndre Hopkins could surprise everybody with like a 2-touchdown game, almost similar to like T. Higgins a few years ago.
For sure.
When he was with the Bengals against the Rams, kind of just come out and be that guy who gets open, especially if they move him around. So,
yeah, I like it. Mark Henry or Brock Lesnar? You went with Brock Lesnar. You know, like this is a funny one because I started Googling the both of them actually when I made the question, and like Brock has these videos online that are just crazy shit. It's like workout videos and stuff that he has. It's fucking nuts.
Well, it's crazy you say that because I think Mark Henry is actually physically stronger.
Yeah.
Like I think he's like can probably deadlift more weight, bench more weight, shit like that.
Yeah.
But then again, I saw Brock Lesnar fight against some of the best heavyweights in the world in the UFC, like actually fist fight and win. Like, you know, he's also lost, but like, you know, like he went in there with Frank Mir and fucking won on like not a lot of training. Like he's an elite actual wrestler. Like he wrestled at Minnesota national champion D1. Like he's a better athlete. Yeah, he's a better athlete fighter than Mark Henry. So like it's like Mark Henry or Brock Lesnar, if they fist fought each other, like Brock Lesnar's gonna win, you know?
I like that. All right, cool. Mark Henry shouts to him though. Obviously, world's strongest.
Yeah, so strong.
Totally different. That's why I wanted to pose it. It's cool. Like,
and I like to work out, and I like not to fight. I guess to say like random people, but like I enjoy the sport of combat, like and wrestling, like any combat sport, like I'm into. So it's kind of like I like both of them. Like I like working out and I like fight sports. So it's kind of a good question.
Speaking of, I'm gonna send you an interview that I watch McAfee all the time. He had Ari Gold in real life. Ari, I forget his last name. I think it's Eitzel. I always forget his last name, but the real Ari Gold. He basically owns all the fighting companies now. He's put
there's a guy. Wait, he owns the fighting companies, or
he owns them. He's the mother company that now has stake in the UFC.
WMEI.
I think is that what it's called? WMEI. You probably right.
Yeah, they bought the
rights to it,
UFC, and they bought WWE. And now UFC and WWE
and they're working
publicly
on
traded.
I heard, all this shit.
TKO.
It was a dope interview.
His name is Ari Emanuel. That's his
Ari
name.
Emanuel. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I almost went to look it up. I went to look it up, and then it came to me.
Because people say that Ari Gold was based off of Ari Emanuel, blah, 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 whatever.
Yeah, I was going to type in WMEI.
I'll send you the interview. It was pretty dope. He's a fucking whip.
I've heard him talk before. He's super smart.
He's super smart. I'd really never have heard him talk that much. That was impressive. I'm definitely more of it.
No, he's a smart guy.
Anyway, you were talking about like fighting and shit like that, and this I don't know why in my head because I just saw it, so I just wanted to say.
Yeah, I bought that TKO stock when they first put it out as like the UFC and the.
He's the CEO of that TKO shit. Yeah.
Well, there's still WMEI as its own stock, but TKO is like the merged companies of like WWE and UFC.
Okay.
They put out they went public of like the UFC and that corporation TKO, and fucking Vince McMahon like sold a bunch, and they like fucking. It's like that weird thing. I think I forget what they call it. It's not like a split. It's like the shares get like diluted or something like that. I forgot. I'd have to look into it, but it like fucked me. I still like made a little bit of money on it, but I was like, this fucking guy. But go ahead.
Split? Did the company like split essentially?
No, it wasn't a split. I'll look up what it was. Just reveal another question, and then I'll figure it out. I can find it.
The name the top 3 best universities to go play college ball if you were a high school QB coming out. You said USC, LSU,
and this is like best as which like I'd prefer. You know?
Yeah. That's the kind of the way I wanted you to pose it. Like, what do you feel is the best? And you said USC, LSU, and Miami. Did you say?
Yeah, I said LSU, USC, and Miami. But hang on, real quick. So what it was called was a secondary offering. They did a secondary offering on the stock, like at a lower price. Like it's this weird thing. They don't do it a lot, and because I'm looking at who like one of my mentors who I talked about it with, and he's like, basically said those secondary offerings are a bitch. What it always means to me is that the company or the owners needs capital for one reason or another.
Right. It sounds like the company's losing money. That's why. You
don't see Apple or Microsoft or Disney pulling that stuff. I'm a little prejudiced when it comes to Vince. He's always seemed shady to me. I avoided WWE stock price was in the teens maybe, so I'm the wrong guy to ask. Plus, I'm always afraid somebody's going to die in the ring one day. Blah, blah, blah. But basically, the secondary offering, it was not like a typical fucking split or whatever it was. So.
I actually, whoever that is, I love their tenor. Like the way the way he's communicating when he's communicating is awesome. Very, very enjoyable to listen to that actually, because he's just funny the way he's phrasing it. Like he's just like sounds like a fucking like
he's an old head.
Yeah, like an old soul. Like his vision is just
old head.
So yeah. Anyway, I like the schools that you picked. Honestly, I obviously would go with warm weather climate too, for sure. USC was money. I love that one.
Yeah, honestly, that's where that was my first answer. That's like where, like, if I, let's say, fucking am playing NCAA football, like,
right?
You know, like,
and NIL in Florida is nice.
Yeah, the most beautiful women, and then Miami is the next, and then I feel like you got to pick an SEC like somewhere. And if I was going to go anywhere in the SEC, I think I'd take LSU.
I would replace that one with Texas. I know Christy would kill me because she's an LSU alum, but I would take Texas.
Well, Texas is barely fucking. I know it's in the SEC now, but it's like it's first year
in general,
one.
Like
I just mean like down. I mean real down south, where football is the only thing. Like Texas football is Texas football. I'm not trying to put it down.
But there's the Cowboys. There's everything else.
It's different than the fuck. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like there's other.
Yeah, in Alabama, LSU football is galore. Yeah.
Yeah, and like going to Death Valley on a fucking Saturday night to play football, it's different, you know. Yeah. Than going to UT Austin, you know.
Different impact for sure.
Yeah. The UT Austin is like a lot of doctors and lawyers and like like LSU is fucking.
No one thinks about like a school that like produces the most like NFL talent, and they just associate automatically Alabama, or you think about LSU immediately. Like even though Texas has plenty of talent in the NFL, they're thought about for so many different reasons. Yeah.
But also just like the raucousness of the fans, like the amount, like when you go to it's a way louder crowd in LSU. I'll say.
Yeah, unless it's Texas A&M versus Texas or something. Name the 5 best small forwards all time, not named Larry Bird, LeBron, or KD.
Yeah, so what are some names I missed?
Maybe, obviously I was thinking about Pippen. We talked about that, and then you put him in.
Yeah, I had to put him in because I couldn't find anyone better than him in my lexicon.
I would say Grant Hill is a consideration for small forward.
I thought about it, not healthy enough.
Kawhi has 2 rings. He's another
Kawhi again. I like Kawhi. I actually love Kawhi Leonard, and like his story is crazy.
Like Kawhi or Scotty all time.
I think I'm like now. I have to probably give just like help. Like Kawhi doesn't play.
It's on trial. It's got to be on trial.
Kawhi Leonard is. If you could give me, if you said like I guarantee you they'll be healthy for a 7-game series, both of them. Give me Kawhi Leonard all day, every day. But
maybe
if you're saying like greatest
KD for a 7-game series, give me that.
But if you're saying like greatest of all time,
right?
Like you have to put in the accomplishments. Like there's a difference between greatest and best. Like greatest requires like longevity and success and like and reaching the pinnacle and like but Kawhi Leonard, like if I had to have one or the other, like I said, in a game, a series where I know they're going to be healthy, even a season, you can guarantee me they're both going to be healthy. Give me Kawhi Leonard, but like being healthy is part of being great, you know. So you can't just like. But that being said, it's tough. It's close. Like Kawhi Leonard, his story is so good. Like he saw his dad get killed in high school.
I know.
His mom's like in jail. His sister's in jail. Like
it
everyone gives him shit about like being socially awkward and shit like that. It's like if you had been through
a stable human, let alone
if you had been through what he'd been through, like you'd be in a fucking straitjacket, most likely.
Coma.
You know, like dead, jail. You know, like there's. Though he made it out the mud for real, like, and like I have so much respect for him, and I feel like he gets a lot of hate, and I do think he's an unbelievable player. Like 2 Finals MVPs, he's right up there. I mean, it's just, and he still has time. Like he could still
win a championship with his own DNA imprinted on a team. It wasn't just about riding the coattails like Scottie
and
did.
2 Finals MVPs, even the one that you could say like wasn't necessarily his team.
Yeah, this is important to mention that the guys that have more rings than Kawhi, a lot of these guys were the bus riders on their teams. They might have been riding first class, but they're still riding, and someone else is flying the plane. And you know, Kawhi flew the plane for a championship. That means a lot. In my opinion, when you're ranking guys, that to me means a lot. That has a lot of weight to me than being a guy that's, and we're going to get to Draymond Green in a second here, but a guy that's a bus rider. That means a lot. And that's why Kevin Durant has always been slighted, because he's a bus rider. Never won with a team with his DNA. That's always been the knock. And then so the full list was Worthy, Irving. Who else did you say? Pierce,
Dominique Wilkins, Pierce, and Pippen.
I think Worthy goes out, and I think Kawhi goes in. That would be.
I think you're hating on James Worthy, dude. He was.
You're talking about a third best player on a championship team right now.
Yeah, but he was the third best player behind Magic Johnson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and like he was
only my point. His job.
He could be impactful, like above those guys at times too. I mean. And defensively was a monster.
Defensive monster. What are his stats?
7-time All-Star, 3-time NBA champ, 2-time All-NBA, All-Rookie, Final. He has a Finals MVP.
Okay, love that. I love that. Winner. So clearly a huge player in huge moments. Then that's
won a college championship too.
Okay, a UNC, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. That's Dean Smith, or is that not Dean Smith?
Dean Smith, correct. I have him above. I have him above Pippen.
Maybe I'm fighting. All right, you're rocking.
Like I think offensively, like a Finals MVP, I do think puts a lot, especially when you play on a team with Magic Johnson and Kareem, and you get the Finals MVP. Mm-hmm. That's pretty big. I mean, it's debatable.
It's debatable. Tracy is somewhere in there because, again, the guy never really won, though, is the problem.
And he also, I think, guarded some twos. Like I don't know necessarily. I see him as a 2 in my head. McGrady.
Same like the Vince thing, right? It's the same with Vince.
Yeah, I think Vince is a 2 guard. It's hard now, like, and why I couldn't even like you talk about Durant, like me and Cruz were talking about last night. This is what I say. I'll talk about it when we'll bring it back up again. Was in the NBA today, I look at it as like guards, wings, bigs. Mm-hmm. I don't even look at like
the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5
guard. Is dead. Is that
one?
Like,
they always say that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 was built for a novice to understand the game. They always said that.
Yeah. It's guards, wings, and bigs now, and even like there's guards that could be wings, like, and there's guys that play guard on offense and big on defense. Jokic, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
Like it's positionless
basketball. Guard, forward, and eventually it'll just be forward.
Yeah,
and
pretty much. It's just like
9 wings.
I like almost like guard, forward, big, like, you know, because
I guess, but that's only even the select teams. Even you talk about like who the Lakers just acquired, and they're like calling him a big Mark Williams or whatever. He's like 6'11", like he's a moving big. Yeah,
but it's like some bigs on your team do totally different things than other bigs, like Maxi Kleber, and before he got traded, and Lively
and Gafford.
That's what I was gonna say, and Gafford. Those guys are all bigs, but Maxi Kleber like goes in the corner and shoots threes, and Gafford like camps out under the ring, and like Lively can like set screens. Like, you know what I mean? It's like three totally different things on the same team.
Literally.
And like it's just different now. Like I don't think you could say anyone's a small forward anymore. Like you're just a forward.
Yeah, that's true.
And even now, like with guards and wings, it's like I would say Luka's a guard, but he could also be a wing, and like same thing with LeBron. Like, you know.
No, I feel you. I think that though in some capacity you could do the positions in basketball in some way, but I do agree with you that in terms of like outlining your team, you shouldn't be thinking about your team in that way in terms of making a lineup.
I guarantee you, like the coaches don't. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
like,
there's no way if you're a coach you should be doing that.
Yeah. Like there's
Chris
no
Paul
way.
is playing next to De'Aaron Fox. There shouldn't be a coach in the league that's like De'Aaron Fox gets traded for, and then Chris Paul has to go to the bench. Like, it's okay. They can play next to each other. De'Aaron Fox can play. They can both play guard, you know? Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Favorite clothing line, you said Nike. Yeah, that's chalk. I feel like it's
Yeah, I was trying. Like, I have like one that's like In God We Must. They make really good like graphic tees, but it's like too like niche.
I wear some of their sweatshirts.
I have like
I like that.
Pancoast is another good like graphic T-shirt company.
This company's from Queens. They're really good. They make good quality shit, like good sweatshirts and shit. It's called Belief. It's really good.
Yeah.
Polo. Adidas.
Polo, I do like Polo. I don't love Adidas. They're okay.
Just name
Polo,
it
Polo. I used to wear a lot of Polo, but not so much anymore. I have like one Polo.
Zoomies.
Zoomies was a store. I don't think it was a brand.
I said clothing line.
Yeah,
True.
Yeah.
Damn. All right, I'll change that next time to clothing store. I want to hear what you say. Maybe you'll say PacSun.
Nah, probably not. Uniqlo.
Uniqlo. Hot Topic.
I'm good.
Is Draymond Green a Hall of Famer?
No way. I mean, and like you can make the argument one day he might get in, he'll get voted in. But if you're trying to tell me he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, like no way, no chance. He's definitely not.
You think they win any of those championships without him?
Absolutely. Because they have someone else solid, you know?
Do you think like Iguodala plays the high post and sets those screens and does all that?
Yeah.
It's replaceable, is what you're saying.
100%. There's a bunch of different people who could do what he did. He doesn't average 10 points, 10 rebounds, or 10 assists over his career. Single digits and everything. Never been a top 30 player in the NBA. Like, he's just not a Hall of Fame player to me. Like, you know, there's just
he's just
no
another
way.
guy on those rosters that has multiple rings.
He's a good player. Like, you know, like there's a lot of good players, you know.
Is Iguodala a Hall of Famer?
No.
Same thing. Who's a better player all time, Iguodala or Draymond?
Iguodala's been the best player. I would say Iguodala's closer than Draymond. Does Draymond Green have a Finals MVP? Like Iguodala has a Finals MVP.
No, Steph, KD, Draymond. Or excuse me, Jesus. Steph, KD, Iguodala.
Yeah. Yeah, Draymond's never won a Finals MVP. Like, I don't know. I mean, I think it's not even close.
He has random stats, like over, like these random ones. I don't know how to say it because I don't know the stats exactly, but it's like over 750 assists, over 1,000 rebounds, over 2,000 points.
Well, this is my whole point. It's like he might be a few people who hits a certain number at all these different stats,
like, all these, like,
but he like just barely gets there.
Yeah.
And he's like, just like I said, he's above average at everything. He's not elite at anything.
Assists all time for a forward, he's probably top 5.
That doesn't mean you're now like, look at how narrow of a stat you had to get to.
It's so narrow, yeah.
As assist, as a forward, like what are we talking about?
But we're also combining that with 2 goals.
We're talking about the Hall of. We're talking about the Hall of Fame. You should be among the most assists all time of anyone. If that's what you're going to hang your hat on. Of assists, you can't be like, only for my position I had a lot of assists.
But the 9th ranked guy on the all-time assist list, let's say whoever it is, we don't know who it is, but let's just say it's a guy that doesn't have rings.
No, it doesn't matter. So 9th at all time is insane. Draymond Green probably isn't top 100
assists all time.
Yeah,
he might be.
Or assists per game. Like, I don't know what, like.
Let's see what his ranking is all time. He's 79th all time.
Yeah, that's fucking deep. Like, what are we talking about?
It's deep, but it's not like, let's be clear. If he gets to top 50 all time in assists,
that's not that great. That's not like, you know, you're comparing him to guy. You're talking about the who's 9th all time.
I think it's an amazing stat. I'm not saying it's
and again, that's like overall assists. He's played a long time. Like assists per game, like how low is he there? Because
like
you have to hit a minimum.
6 or 7, right?
What?
It was at like 6 or 7, right? When you looked at it, I think we were looking at it.
Yeah, just look up assists per game all time NBA.
I'm just saying that if he gets into that top 30 category in assists all time, and he's top 30 in rebounds all time, and he has 4 rings and 2 golds, it's gonna get weird.
He's 86th in assists per game all time.
So that's
So right around 79, so not that much different, to be fair.
not that much different. They're kind of pacing each other.
All right, Terry Porter ahead of him, Doc Rivers ahead of him, Brandon Jennings ahead of him, Mike Conley ahead of him, Fred VanVleet, D'Angelo Russell, Elfrid Payton, Jose Calderon,
Ooh, the
Ray
Elfrid
Williams.
Payton. Oh shit!
Michael Williams, Jason Williams,
Elfrid Payton.
Sam Cassell. Like, there's so many people more. Like Kyle Lowry. Like, you know, and I get you. Like, what else did he do?
I get Bucks like Milwaukee because, like Sam, I Cassell. Come on now. Yo,
6.9 rebounds.
Not
a
saying
game.
that. But first of all those guys don't fucking have rings or any impact in the playoffs. They have no playoff stats. Draymond has a lot of playoff stats too.
Terry Porter has a better case for the fucking Hall of Fame than Draymond Green.
That guy
I'll
has
say right
rings?
now.
Some Blazers. They have no rings.
But what do we? But now it's like, dude, you rings
or playoff
only
stats.
matter in terms of making the Hall of Fame if you're the fucking best player on the team, the second best player on the team. A lot of times he was the 4th best player on the fucking team. And we're going to be like, oh, he won
Playoff
rings.
stats, though. You know what I'm saying? Total playoff stats all time. I'm just saying that might. I'm not saying that I agree that
He deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Like,
I'm not saying he
it's
deserves
I don't
it.
even want to talk of like it doesn't deserve this much conversation as far as I'm concerned. Like,
All right.
you're selling a guy.
I'm
He
saying
doesn't
it's
have.
weird. All I said
He
is he's
doesn't,
weird.
he doesn't have 9 points a game. He doesn't have 7 rebounds per game. He doesn't have 6 assists per game in his career. He has nothing to hang his hat on as an elite player. He's not an elite player.
Agreed.
No one goes and plays Draymond Green and is like, what are we going to do to stop Draymond Green tonight?
Agreed.
You need that to be a Hall of Famer. You can't just be a guy on the team that's good. Like, no, that's not how it works.
I think
Like
that's
those-
fair.
You could have 20 fucking rings. Like, you shitted on Robert Horry. Like, he's different than Robert Horry. If you look at Robert Horry's career split of assist points, you know, it's not going to be that much crazier. It's going to be like,
Probably will be.
it'll be 2 less points, 2 less rebounds, 3 less assists.
Probably more assists, less, I would say there, but if I was guessing. But different
It's
guys.
3
One guy was a role
It's
player.
3.4 assists. It's 3.4 assists, 1.1 rebound,
It was more assists. I
and
was right.
8.4. Yeah, barely though. 3.4. It rounds down to 3. That's
rounding?
what I said. And then it's less rebounds difference. I said 2. It's only 1.1.
Yeah, that makes some
and
sense.
it's only 1.4 points a game difference. And if you want to be like rings, Robert
He's
Horry
7.
won a lot more rings than Draymond Green did.
Fuck yeah, with different
So-
teams, and hit big shots. He was called Big Shot Bob. I'm aware. I'm aware.
I don't know. And if you go to like,
No, I'm not saying I'm not comparing those two either, but interesting what the case that you're making for Ori in terms of impact and stuff. Obviously, doesn't
I'm just saying neither one of them are Hall of Famers because they were never very good. Like,
impact.
you know, like
yeah. Also, different roles. Like Draymond does a lot of the conducting, the picks, and the dirty work. Or Ori's a
I
different
think
player.
I'm not saying he never does or never handles a ball ever, or like never has to shoot, but like I guarantee if you really broke it down, like there's a lot of possessions where he doesn't touch the ball at all.
Yeah, facts. That's a fact, and that or if he does,
But
it's a quick catch and throw it to the best player.
If he
Throw it
did
to
touch the
another player.
ball, like he would have
Yeah.
more stats if he touched the ball more.
Yeah, he's also what's the word? What is it called? I forget when you're like it's like you're laying up stats for yourself. There's a word for this where like he's playing with Stephen Clay for a lot of his career. You know, he's passing it, he gets the assist. You're passing to the best shooter of all time or the second best shooter of all time.
Yeah, I don't know. As we can
Like
talk about
he's
stats and
okay.
fucking everything
Yeah.
till we're blue in the face. Like I watched him play. He's not a Hall of Fame caliber player.
Someone just said, I'm guessing Hots is a Saints fan in our comments.
And they said the Draymond Green glazing.
Glazing is crazy. No one's glazing
Yeah.
Draymond. We're just having.
I said he doesn't deserve like he's nowhere
Yeah, and
near
I'm
a
just
Hall
being
of
devil's
Famer.
advocate for sake of conversation. I'm not.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not riding for the record. I'm just talking.
Maybe they think the picture behind me is a Saint or something. That's Troy.
Oh,
Aikman.
that's Troy Aikman, by the way, behind
Yeah,
him.
I'm
yeah,
a
the
Cowboys
Dallas
fan.
Cowboys. Yeah.
But whatever. Good show.
Go Chiefs.
Go Chiefs. Fuck the Eagles. Yeah, I said it at the same
Eagles.
time. Just
That's
like the
it.
79 interceptions trying to steal my thunder.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He said, "How
Yeah.
unfortunate."
So unfortunate.
Cowboys.
You missed last episode or the one
Our
before
last
it.
episode, bro,
Yeah.
and you'll see the rant of all time about the Cowboys organization from a non-biased, incredible perspective. From yours truly.
I mean,
right there.
it's biased as a Cowboys fan who's been dying.
But it wasn't biased take though that you had, is what I'm saying. It was such a legitimate, honest take.
No, it's from the fans' perspective. Yeah, check it out. You can even just look on it. We have Instagram if you want to check that out, Derpy.
Yes, sir.
It's a 4-minute little rant. It was
sir.
good.
Fuck the Eagles.
But,
Fuck the Eagles. I'm actually
yeah.
heading to the Stanford basketball game today. Shout out to
Yeah,
the Stanford
yeah.
Cardinals.
Enjoy. It's just Cardinal. They're not the Cardinals.
I called them the Cardinals. I've been calling them that for
Yeah,
they
it's
have a
just
tree as their mascot. It's the
It's
weirdest
just the
shit.
Stanford Cardinal. I'm pretty
Yeah, it's
sure.
embarrassing. Yeah,
Yeah,
and their
your
emblem's a
fiance
tree.
works there.
That's the only reason we support it, baby. New Yorkers
You should-
supporting it for no reason.
Oh, just some breaking news before we. It
you
looks
got? What do
like
you got?
Anthony Davis got hurt.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, so
Serious injury?
yeah, I mean they're speculating now, but he left the game.
Oh my god. You have got it. I mean, if you're a Mavs
Crazy.
fan, I heard there were picket signs out there for the GM and it was getting crazy down there. Like he needed security and shit for the GM when he was arriving back
Yeah.
from the away game. Fucking nuts.
And what timing by Derpy said it could be worse. You could be a Mavs fan also. So
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, at
timing.
least I'm not both.
Yeah.
yeah,
facts.
yeah.
Shouts
But,
to Nick, baby.
Thanks for tuning in, Sixers Hot Says Dreamers. We love you.
y'all.
Fucking miss you. And yeah, we're gonna lock in on basketball, off-season baseball. We didn't even talk about Alonzo getting re-signed. You know, it's the last week we talk about football. Obviously, that's our bread and butter. But love you, schmov you. See you next time.
Yes, sir. Be good.
Peace.